If you're part of a mid-market organization that's looking for ways how technology might be able to fuel your continued growth and scale, I'm at a conference here this week to talk about some of the trends that you should be aware of in the mid-market space. My name is Eric Kimberly. I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting. We're an independent tech-agnostic consulting firm that helps clients throughout the world with their digital transformations. And the mid-market is where a lot of our clients are. A lot of them are high-growth organizations that are either family-owned, perhaps they've grown through acquisition or organic growth or some combination of all the above. And many of them are looking for ways to use technology to automate their business, to bring together information and business processes, and ultimately make themselves more scalable and more growth-oriented going forward. However, there are a lot of options to choose from in the marketplace if you're looking for different ERP software or different types of technology, such as AI or other emerging technologies to improve your business. So it can be overwhelming. It can be daunting to know what to think about and how to prioritize and what some of the pitfalls are. So what I decided to do is to attend a mid-market IT and ERP conference that's actually hosted by a company called Acumatica, and they're an ERP software provider for the mid-market. And I want to ask some of the people at this conference, in terms of the software vendor and customers and analysts, to understand what is it that it takes to be successful in the mid-market technology space, what are some of the pitfalls to watch for, and what are some of the trends to be aware of. So let's take a look at what some of the experts at this conference have to say. So looking forward the next 5 years, what are you most excited about when it comes to technology in the mid-market space?
Yeah, so I think it probably goes without saying that the hype today is all about an AI.
Right.
Data that's in an ERP is like core to a company. It's highly secure. And no one has ever implemented an ERP to let their data be out in the wild, or when you ask it a question or you're looking for something, you get something that it hallucinates. Every answer for an ERP has to be accurate, has to be exactly what you need. And so what's super interesting to me over the next 5 years is, what will AI do in that construct?
I put it in two categories. There's definitely a verticalization trend. Customers want more and more specific tools that solve kind of a one end-to-end problem, and they want to know they can run their whole business on that technology. It's very different from enterprise, very different from small business. And now they're looking for the most modern technology in that space. This is AI-driven, it's data-driven, it's certainly built on SaaS and on our cloud. AI is the biggest trend, of course, and everybody says it. We think we're delivering AI in a very specific way. It's a very pragmatic, real-world use case AI system that solves day-to-day problems for customers, and that's what they're getting. They're seeing those tools in their product every day, every week, every month, and that's probably the single biggest tech trend you see on top of that verticalization I talked about.
The challenge I see is that mid-market companies, to take quote unquote advantage of AI, they need to do a lot of things with data and with industry specific data quality. That is a lot of work, and data architectures to get AI right are pretty complicated and difficult. And I think a lot of mid-sized companies are going to find they don't have the internal resources to maintain it. You have things like model drift. You have things like which LLM should we be using this week? That's a lot for a mid-size company that's trying to focus on kicking ass in their business world to deal with, not to mention things like tariffs and globalization and all of that. And a lot of these companies do play globally. What I'm excited about is there's a growing number of vendors, including, by the way, the one we're dealing with here, Acumatica, that are able to provide a lot of that stuff in a quote unquote out of the box capacity, so that you don't have to invest as much, of your own development resources in there. AI is an accelerator. It makes your good stuff better. It makes your bad stuff worse. So let's embrace the good stuff and have that conversation.
Right. How does the average mid-market company or a small business, how do they navigate all these different advancements and all the cool stuff they could be doing when maybe they're on an old system that they can't even get the basic functionality they need in a current cloud system?
I think this is definitely one of a big problem for many of the companies in this space, because a lot of companies went to ERP many years back, and many of them are stuck in that, right? The whole idea is how to enable those customers such that they don't have to worry about where they are going, what they are needing. They have to worry about their business. They have to worry about how do they increase their business, how do they achieve the outcomes that they want to achieve. And it is our job to provide them the right tools and right technology so that they can leverage that.
One of probably the biggest mistakes I see is companies not starting with the end state of what they want on their business process. What they need to do is stop and think and say, what's the end state of my business process? What am I trying to get to? And many times those customers will start off with, well, this is the way we've done it all along, instead of this is what we should be doing. And that mistake is bringing your bad habits into your new system.
What piece of advice or thing would you say a lot of organizations overlook when they get involved in a mid-market technology initiative?
Yeah, I think technology initiatives for mid-market customers are an unknown because they maybe don't do one very often, or maybe there's a lot of fear or there's disruption. And I actually think the best thing to think about is the prep solves the problem. So in other words, being better at clarifying who your accounts are, what your data is, knowing what your goals are, deciding how much history you bring in, is the single biggest thing I see. And the pitfalls we see are often that they're not prepped for that. They haven't thought through all the eventualities, because they're not just buying software. They're actually buying a system that works, they can run their business on. They're running their old system at the same time. They want to know it's not just the technology's turned on. They want to know, is it ready? Are all my accounts updated? Do you understand my business? Are my people trained? Are we ready? And that degree of disruption is an unknown. And so we want to give them as much clarity and predictability as possible around that.
What are some of the advice or takeaways you would give to someone who's about to start evaluating potential ERP systems?
I would first make sure that they have a good plan, and set out all the goals for what they're trying to achieve. And then once we launched, we worked very hard to make sure that we didn't have any customizations or third-party add-ons right away. So it was important to use as much of the native operating system as possible, while focusing on making sure we eliminated as much of our double and triple entry that we had before. And so if you focus on that, I think you can have a successful implementation. And then after you get used to the system from there, then you can start seeing if you need customizations or third-party software to go along with it.
Right.
The only thing I would add is that you need a really good project manager, someone who's going to take the whole thing all the way through.
So that's what some of the experts have to say about what to look forward to in the mid-market technology space. But I'd love to hear from you. What do you think? What are you most excited about as you think about mid-market technology? What trends are you most excited about? And where do you think we'll be in 5 years? Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And if you'd like to learn more about some of our thoughts around some of the trends and things to be aware of in the mid-market tech space, be sure to check out our annual digital transformation report. You can find that by scanning the QR code right here, or you can go to the links below. So if you found this information useful, and hope you have a great day.